In just a couple of minutes, we're going to do a complete transition. I want to make sure that all of you had the chance either just before break or just after break to register for States Connection. That'll be really important this afternoon to use as a tool to help you with the work that you'll be doing later this afternoon. But as Amy mentioned earlier and Dee talked about earlier this morning, Amy developed Unit 2 for you already for accounting, and I developed Unit 5. So Unit 5 is on financial analysis, and it has students working in groups to do a financial analysis of publicly traded companies using a variety of resources. So you are going to become my students. For those of you who were with us earlier this week or last week, you already know this. I get to be a teacher again, which actually I'm pretty excited about. Spent 34 years in the classroom, retired last June, and still miss my students, so I get you back. And so about the next hour and 10 to 15 minutes, you'll be my students, and we're going to do a portion of Unit 5, okay? So Unit 5, what I chose to do was to create a large project. And I actually made it a project-based learning. It included all of the, in the unit when you get into Dropbox, I don't want you to do it right now, but when you get into Dropbox, you'll see the entire project is there. All the project management tools are there. It's really very portable. You could pick it up and you could do it tomorrow. So if you're teaching accounting right now, and this is a unit you currently teach in accounting, you would be able to use this unit. So we're going to take what would be a 2 or 3 week project that you would do in your classrooms, and we're going to bring that down to about an hour and 15 minutes. So we're going to do this on like speed dial, right? Speed dial. And so we're just going to do a portion of the project. But if you would cooperate and be my students for the next hour and 15 minutes, put yourselves in your own student seat, we're going to do this project. The project's called It's My Business to Know Your Business. So if April, you would help me with the handouts, I would appreciate it. While April is handing that out, just want to take you back to yesterday in class. If you remember, Mr. Vanderbaan was here. He is a financial analysis with Spectrum Health, and he talked to you about financial analysis, why it's important to their organization, and provided you with some notes and some information and some handouts that you can be using as we do our project. So today we're actually going to start our project, and that project is called It's My Business to Know Your Business. So let me ask you a couple of questions from yesterday, and then also just to find out what you actually know about financial analysis and corporations and publicly traded corporations and companies. How many of you, either your parents or yourself, have invested money into the stock market? Okay, a few of you have. Okay, that's terrific. How many of you have ever, instead of just giving that money, Mr. Vanderbaan explained yesterday that he takes people's money and takes his company's money and invests it on behalf of the company and helps employees within the company as well. So a lot of people will give their money to a financial manager who'll invest on their behalf, but have any of you invested in a company on your own? You did your own research, you found out what kind of company you wanted to invest in, and you invested it yourself. Okay, Jerry has, terrific, and Terry has, and somebody else raised their hand. Okay, Renee has, and Beth has. Wonderful. So you're going to be great resources for the people who are at your tables and in your teams. This is the group that you're sitting with, that you're going to be working with for the next 2 to 3 weeks on this project. Okay, so I hope you get along. All right, does everybody have a copy? You should have 2 stapled documents. The first one should look like this and have some blue on the side, right? That's the one we're going to look at first. So our driving question for the next 3 weeks as we do this project is how can you use financial data to determine a company's success? So I just want you to think about that for a minute. How could you use data, financial data? We've been in accounting for a number of weeks. We've been working with financial data. But how do we know that how do we use that data to make sure that the company that Terry chose to invest in or Renee chose to invest in really is a good company and not just a popular company, right? Not just a popular company. So think about that for a minute. I'm going to ask for a couple of volunteers. How might you use financial data to determine a company's success?
52 weeks high and lows, the 52-week high and lows.
Okay, looking at the 52-week high and lows. Now, Terry, there's a lot of people in the room who haven't invested before, so can you explain what that is?
What it is, you check out the pricing of the stock that you're investing in for 52 weeks. It's usually when you pull up a stock, it'll have the information on the stock page. It'll give you the 52-week high and low, that how the price has went up and down for that whole year. Basically, yeah, this is a line chart. It's a line chart to show how the stock is doing.
Okay, all right, so you can see over time how that stock is doing, absolutely. What would be another piece of financial data that might help us to determine a company's success?
The prospectus.
Okay, can you explain what that prospectus is? Wanda, what is a prospectus?
Andrea, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Andrea, I should have, there you go. Wanda's sitting next to you.
Just the overview of the company's financial standing with everything possibly you can want to know about the company in it, a document of sorts.
Absolutely. So we're going to be using not only what Andrea and Terry talked to you about in terms of financial data, we're going to be using a lot of financial data over the next couple of weeks, and you're going to be doing some pretty significant analysis of that to determine if this really is a successful company based on the data, not just on what you hear in the news. So let's look at the project description really quickly. You're going to be working with a lot of tools and strategies, and you're going to evaluate a company's financial performance. You're going to choose a publicly traded company. Now, what's a publicly traded company? Who remembers from Mr. Vanderbaan? Yes, Renee?
It's a company that's traded on the stock market.
Okay, so it's a company that's traded on the stock market. Remember, from earlier this year, you can buy and sell shares of stock with that publicly traded company. Now, you're going to be doing this as a team, but you're also going to be doing quite a bit of individual work. Each of you is going to choose a company on your team to do some research with. And then once your individual research is completed, your team is going to do a side-by-side analysis of their companies to determine if they're successful, because you got to have a standard in which to look at. We'll go ahead and skip over the objectives of the project. If you will go to the next page, which has the key deliverable. So what are you going to do with all of this research? Well, you're going to prepare a report and a presentation. Okay, you're going to prepare a report and a presentation. And for your presentation, I don't care what kind of technology you use to present your information. But each of your presentations and reports will contain an overview of the chosen company and compare the company to its competitors in the industry. And although the team is responsible for developing the report and presentation, each one of you is responsible for developing your section in that presentation report with your analysis of the company. Does anybody have any questions on the overview of the project? This is a fun project class. You should be excited about it. We're going to do some analysis right now because at the end of the day, This information is going to be great for all of you who've never done any kind of investing, who are thinking about investing in your future. And so it will be really good for you, okay? So got to have that enthusiasm notched up there a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and look at our next stapled copy. Let's pull that out. These are the first things that we're going to do. April, my teaching assistant, could you bring me a copy of that second document? I only grabbed a copy of the first document. Okay, thank you. So this is going to be the first phase of our project on steroids for today. You are going to access and analyze a publicly traded company's financial statement today. You're going to use that data to calculate lots of different financial ratios, and then we're going to do a really short analysis. Before you start to work independently, though, I need each team to decide on an industry they would like to do their research in. For example, let's say that Renee's team, they're all athletes. They're really excited about track this season. One of them's in baseball, right? They've just been very athletic their entire lives. So they're really interested in companies like Nike, in Under Armour, right? And what's another company that would be in there with Nike and Under Armour? Adidas would be another one. So they might choose to look at kind of like athletic wear, athletic shoe type of companies, and they're going to choose 3 in the same industry. Now, April and I, we love to eat. And so April, anytime we want to go out, she wants to go to Burger King. And I always want to go to McDonald's because they really do have the best soda in the world, right? So we might choose the restaurant industry, and our team might choose McDonald's and Burger King. So at your tables right now, what I need you to do is to decide kind of what industry and then what companies you want to, and remember it's got to be publicly traded, it's got to be sold on the, shares got to be sold on the stock market. So if you're not sure, you can ask one of my teaching assistants or me, you can ask Jerry or April or me, if it's a publicly traded company, or you can ask your teammates. So take about 3 or 4 minutes to figure out what industry and what companies, okay? All right, if I can have my class come back with me, we're going to start to gather information so we can complete our project. Okay, we're going to start to gather some information. And we're going to continue down student handout 1. We talked about the project instructions. Let's just go really quickly around the room and find out what industry and what companies. And we're just going to go ahead and start right over here.
We did social networking stacks, Facebook, Twitter, Google, LinkedIn.
Okay, so you're just going to pick 2 of those companies, right? Okay.
I did Dominion. We do utilities, she's doing Dominion, and I'm doing the Lumen Company.
Okay, perfect. You guys are doing some really interesting ones. Go ahead.
Banks, financial services,
Okay, and what banks did you choose?
PNC, Huntington, Bank of America.
Okay, wonderful. And this group back here?
We're doing automotive,
All right.
industry, and Chrysler, GM, and Honda.
Okay, terrific. And this group up here is doing
Cell phones, wireless.
wireless?
Yeah, Verizon, Boost, and AT&T.
Okay, now, you know, the students who always sit in the front of the room, right, want to always be overachievers. So they've already found out some information about one of their companies. And Mary Ellen or Angela, you want to?
Verizon went on strike this morning.
Verizon went on strike this morning. So if you're having trouble with your wireless, not that you're checking your cell phones while you're in class, and you have Verizon, that could be part of the problem. Okay? All right.
But it's not affecting the cell phones. It's
It is not.
landlines.
It is just landlines. All right. So this is just a little bit off topic from here, but being high school students, I'm always amazed. How many of you have a landline or even know what one is in your house? Okay, so quite a few of you still have landlines in your home. Okay, that's terrific. Oh, did I miss a table? Oh, way in the back, I am sorry. So I'm sorry, class, if we could have your attention, I missed a group way in the back.
We were just at Home Improvement, Lowe's and Home Depot.
Okay, all right. So there we go. We've got just a variety of things. What we're going to do first, if you'll look on the front page here, I have a link to a tutorial, Baruch College's guide. When Mr. Vanderbond was here yesterday, he couldn't give you all the information that you needed. So we're going to complete this tutorial. Now, we're not going to be able to do it all today because we do have a shortened day because of testing and all kinds of things going on. So I'm going to suggest to you that you use the tutorial as needed today. So if you need some information to be able to complete the next step of the project, that you can talk to your teammates for sure. But if none of you know the answer, I'm going to suggest that you go to the tutorial. So you can see there at baruch.cuny.edu and then the tutorials, that's there. So that will really just be a resource for you today. Okay, that will just be a resource for you today. And once you have completed that tutorial or done a little bit of review if you need to, you're going to go on and do a treasure hunt. And you're going to do a treasure hunt on financial data. We're going to start gathering some financial data so we can use that data for analysis tomorrow and over the next couple of days. So you're going to go on a treasure hunt for financial information about your chosen company. And a really good place to start to get information is from the Securities and Exchange Commission. Who knows what the Securities and Exchange Commission is? Yes. Norval, what is it?
It's the controlling body for all of the publicly traded stock.
Okay, yes. And every year, companies have to file a report with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and that's called a 10-K. It's called a 10-K. So if you go to the SEC and use this web link, you'll be able to find your company's most recent 10-K. Now, our Dropbox for class has this project already uploaded. So if you tend to be like me and you're trying to like type all of these words out, I usually make a mistake and then it comes up a 404 error. So you could actually go into our class Dropbox, open the project, and copy the links out, and then go to your website. So where is that treasure hunt? If you go to the next page, page 10, this is your treasure hunt. So we're looking for things on balance sheets, on income statements, and on cash flow statements. And we've learned a lot about that in financial accounting already this year. So you're going to look for this information and you're going to gather as much information as you can in about the next 30 minutes for your company only. So Renee, what's your company? What company are you going, which bank?
Bank of America.
Okay, so Renee's going to go on and she's going to look for Bank of America. Now, if Renee's having trouble, she certainly can ask her teammates for help. Where did you find it for your company, right? If she has trouble finding the answer to one of those. Who has questions? Okay, you use the tutorial today really just as a resource if you need to learn something. And then you're going to do the treasure hunt. I'm going to give you about 30 minutes to at least get started. We may not get finished today, but we're certainly going to get started. And then we're going to share out some information that we learned about these companies as we start to prepare for our presentation. Now I've got my assistants in the room. I have Amy. Remember, she's got a strong accounting background. She is a whiz at this. I have April and I have Jerry. So if you have trouble navigating that 10K, they can certainly help as well as I can. Questions? All right, I can see you've already started working. So I'm going to let you get to work. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Unit 5. Scroll up. Right there.
Thank you.
Yep. I'll go ahead and show you where in the Dropbox this is. It's under our Unit 5 that we started this last week. And it's right here where it says PBL. It's My Business to Know Your Business. You can just go ahead and download it and then copy and paste those links if you would like to. All right, class, we're getting towards the end of the hour and I'm going to have to release you to head for lunch. And so that we can get to lunch on time, I know that's important for my students. You might not be finished with this piece of the project. I'm going to let you take that home and do it as homework tonight if you did not get finished. But let's just have some people share, some groups share a little bit of information. So my second group of overachievers is actually at the back table. They were done first, and now they're looking at each other like who's going to share. Tell us the name of the company you did research for, and then tell me what your total assets for the most recent year were, if you have them.
Oh my God, I get my glasses. We did Home Depot,
Home Depot.
and our total assets for the most recent year, 42,549,000, I think.
That's a lot of money, isn't it? What was their net income for the year?
Wait. Give her a question number.
Oh, I'm sorry, question 11.
11, for most recent, 709, no wait, what does that say? Just give me my writing. It's, 709 million?
700. This sounds like a pretty good company, right? Right? So if we look just at their assets and we looked at their income, oh, pretty good company. Can we say that yet though about this company? Not really, because we don't know anything else. We just know some numbers right now. So let's come up here to Tanisha and Beth and tell us one of your companies or the company you researched together, and then tell us your, if you would look at question number 5 and then question number 6. Tell us what your assets and then your liabilities were for the year.
Number 5, our total assets for the most recent year, we did Facebook,
Okay, Facebook, yep.
and our total assets for the year was 49.
We were at a million, so we did 49.
49 million?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
49,407,000.
Okay, all right, so just over 49 million. And how about that total liabilities and shareholders equity? What was that?
The same.
The same, right? Because it has to equal, right? You remember that from your accounting, don't you? So absolutely good. So that's excellent. And then what about number 2, the company's current liabilities? How much do they owe?
They owe 51.
No current.
Oh, I don't know. 51,890.
Okay, so they're carrying a lot of debt right now, aren't they? So could we say right now that maybe you have a little bit of concern about this company because of their liabilities?
Just concerned about my number.
Just concerned about your numbers? Okay, so,
It was just total liabilities instead of total current.
okay, all right. So that was total versus current. So that's good that you recognized that you needed to choose that. Okay, great. And if we had more time, I know I'm going to have to let you go for lunch in a few minutes. So I am going to end class with you as students. Now you're going to go back in your teacher mode, okay? We're not leaving for lunch quite yet, so I know you were getting kind of excited. But I'm going back to my trainer mode. You're going back to your teacher mode. So one of the things about working through this project, and at least through this piece of the project, I hope you notice some things, right, that are going to create opportunities for your students. When companies have to file a 10K, there's no standard format of what they have to call each of their things. So a few of you struggled with, well, where is this? And I think one of those things that you might have struggled with, I know one group did, was the total shares, I think. I don't know which question that was. Oh, how much common stock in dollars was issued? And for the group back here, it had it in there, but it was called something different. So you're going to have to help students work through that to be able to identify those numbers. This is really the first step in doing the financial analysis. Students are going to be gathering numbers about their companies, and then if you were to look further in the project is when they'll start actually doing the financial analysis. And I'm excited that Ohio has this in their standards because when I was teaching, we had 3 accountants, might have been 4, I said 3 earlier, but it might have been 4, but either way, on our advisory committee, and they kept telling us 2 things about our accounting course. Number one, they thought it was a great accounting course. But they said their world, no one hands them the numbers in a simulation and then has them put those numbers already completed and they just have to figure out what box they go into, right? That's not the world of accounting, is it, Renee? You get all these documents and forms, right? You've got to pull data out of your registers and then you build all of your income statements and balance sheets. And they said, you need to teach students how to do that. But on the other end, having documents, income statements and balance sheets and cash flow statements, all that are great. But if you don't know how to do analysis on them, those statements don't really give you the complete picture of a company, right? So you need to include financial analysis on the other side. And so this unit, this project is really a fun project. Will your students struggle a little bit? Yes, a little bit, but they're going to have a lot of background information. I just dropped this in your laps. For some of you who have never taught accounting, maybe never even taken accounting, it might have been a little bit more of a struggle for you, right? Might have been more of a struggle. But walking them through step by step on how to do analysis is going to be a tool that they'll be able to use for the rest of their lives, not just if they become accountants.